Hi, everyone. I'm Laura Mackey, and I'm the Director of Field Education with the Department of Social Work at Springfield College. Today, I am going to be recording the field orientation presentation. Please watch this video before your field orientation session in person, where we hope to go more in depth to address your questions. All resources being shared today will be sent out to students by email, in addition to the field orientation schedule. So please stay tuned for that information in your email. So along with myself, Lily Greer is the Assistant Director of Field Education. It has been a pleasure for both of us to work with each and every one of you to finalize your field placement plans for this fall. Just to give you an overview, the field practicum is considered the signature pedagogy of social work. This means that this is a place where you can bring together the knowledge that you're gaining in the classroom and implement it in the field. This, in my opinion, is the best way to prepare yourselves for independent social work practice at the master's level after you graduate. So the hope of the practica are for you to enhance your skills, your values, and your knowledge, to work with and empower vulnerable populations, and to realize the goals of our department and program. Please check out the field manual, which may address many of your more specific questions pertaining to field, and it is linked here, and it will be provided in the attached document. So hopefully you know at this point that you will be attending to the 3 levels of social work practice in your internship: micro, meso, and macro. The activities that you do, as well as the assignments, are intentionally designed to ensure that by the time you graduate, you are well-rounded in and prepared in all of these areas of practice. So in order to meet the micro requirement, you'll be doing some type of direct service with the population you serve. You may be doing psychosocial assessments. If that's not something that's done in your site, you'll be doing that in your practice class. And you will be doing process recordings as well, and we'll talk more about that. So gaining hands-on experience with the population that your agency or organization serves. For the meso component, you may be doing group therapy or working with groups. You may also be doing work with your colleagues, so you may be on committees or be a part of interdisciplinary group meetings. You may consider doing process recordings for these as well, particularly if you're a student in your second year placement and you've already completed practice 2, where you learn more about groups. And the macro component is accomplished in your project, whether you're in your first year, you do a project focusing on community, and in your second year, focusing more on the agency or administration. This is a great way to gain further experience with project design and implementation, or thinking about interventions and resources on a larger scale. You can do macro-oriented process recordings by using the community or administrative meeting template that will be shared a little bit later on. The social work core competencies, these are something that you'll be evaluated based off of. It's incorporated into your learning contract, as well as the evaluations that your field supervisors will do at the end of the fall and spring semester. So by the time you graduate, you will be competent in all of these areas. The first one being demonstrating ethical and professional behavior. Second, engaging diversity and difference in practice. Third, advancing human rights according to social, economic, and environmental justice. Fourth, engaging in practice-informed research and research-informed practice. 5, engaging in policy practice. And then 6, you'll see a tie between all of 6 through 9 in terms of working with individuals, families, groups, organizations, and communities. The difference being 6 is engaging, 7 is assessing, 8 is intervening, and 9 is evaluating. Your field practicum workbooks contain all of the field assignments together in one place. We'll be giving a hard copy to each of you in the field orientation meetings that are happening later this week. They're also linked in this attached PowerPoint. This is a good reference to check into, to remind yourself what are the things that need to be accomplished. In each of the field practicum workbooks that look like this, for example, in the very first page, there's a check sheet. And I would say that's one of the best resources to remind yourself. In addition, everything's in Brightspace. They also have the templates for process recordings, a sample agenda you could possibly use for field supervision, and information that can help you in preparing at the beginning of your internship and preparing for the site visit with your faculty advisor about partway through the fall semester. If for some reason you didn't get a hard copy in one of our meetings and you need one, please contact our administrative associate, Jacqueline LaHoulier. Her email is included within. So to review the assignments, I would say there are 3 major assignments that touch on the 3 level of practice, and there are some other requirements that you need to meet as well. The learning contract is the first and very important starting point in terms of assignments. This is where you outline how you're going to meet the 3 levels of practice, as well as the social work core competencies. The learning contracts are both attached in this handout, in this PowerPoint, and we can go more in depth on an additional resource if needed. Usually we've talked about these plans as we've been finalizing and establishing the placement. This is an important, a useful tool for you to agree upon the plan together with your field supervisor, so you know what the expectations are, particularly in terms of activities and schedules. One important thing to note is that students typically are required to do hours over the winter break. This is something you can negotiate directly with your site. It's often quite important in terms of continuity of care for your clients. If you're in a setting where it's not required, make sure you negotiate that with your field supervisor and have an eye on what the plan is for the year to meet your hourly requirements overall. We do encourage students to take at least a week or 2 off during the winter break. And also be sure to talk with your site about what the expectations are around spring break as well. Typically, students do hours over those breaks. The last thing to keep in mind in terms of scheduling is if you're a student who's doing an internship at a school, they often have Monday holidays or holidays that are different from ours. So again, I would encourage you to map out the calendar for the year and making sure you're hitting the mark with the hours that you need. So the learning contract is the first assignment that's due towards the end of September, and you'll be talking about it with your faculty advisor as well during the site visit. Then there are process recordings. We've reduced the number of process recordings for this year, so 6 will be due each semester, 12 in total for the year. Of the 6 each semester, 2 will need to be submitted directly to your faculty advisor through Brightspace. Those 2 that you submit need written feedback from your field supervisor. The other ones you can review with them verbally, but the 2 that you turn in, please be sure that they have feedback provided from your field supervisor so you can get a sense of what the learning and the conversations are. There are due dates for the process recordings. One is due in October and one is due in November. You can check out more information on Brightspace under the assignments. These are really a tool that are helpful for you to be able to reflect more deeply on the work you're doing, challenge yourself to reflect on your reactions, the interventions you're doing, and get further feedback from your field supervisor. For your timesheets, you'll need to fill these out and get a signature from your field supervisor at minimum once a month. If you want to do them once a week, that's totally fine too. Some students prefer other methods. So the version that we share can be digital or can be handwritten. If you use another system, just make sure you and your field supervisor agree on it and that it's something that you can submit in Brightspace. At minimum, you need signatures once a month showing that you've completed the required hours. You will need to show that you completed the annual requirement by the end of the year before you can get a pass for completing the end of field. Your field supervisor is a qualified professional who's been in the field for some time. We've vetted them to make sure that they have the proper credentials, whether you're a first-year student or a second-year student. Those requirements can be a little bit different. But this is the person that you're meeting with at least once a week individually for an hour. You may be at a site where there's group supervision, but you still need that weekly individual supervision for an hour. You'll submit your process recordings to this person and discuss them, review them, kind of break it down together. You'll review and create the learning contract together, and you'll be talking about your projects with them as well. Supervision is not only about the nuts and bolts of getting your notes done, understanding agency policies, but it's also a place, again, for you to reflect more deeply, ask your supervisors questions, and really focus on your own learning and development in the work. Some of you have questions about the field seminar versus the field practicum, and what is the role of your faculty advisor. So for our program, your faculty advisor is your internship advisor. They're the person that will receive what you submit on Brightspace, so they're the instructor for the course. They will do a site visit with you in the fall and most likely in the spring as well. Those have been virtual the last 2 years and most likely will be virtual this year as well. When they meet with you and your field supervisor, you'll discuss the learning contract and just how things are going so far. They're a great first point of contact if you're running into any issues or have concerns about what's coming up in the field. And please do reach out to Lily and I if you have questions or concerns anytime as well. Your faculty advisor is the person that will also be receiving your evaluation. So they're the ones that are going to have the overall sense of how things are going in your internship. But again, if you want to give us feedback, we especially love to hear about exciting projects that students are doing or accomplishments. Please let us know. For the field seminar, it's not a scheduled class like your traditional other classes, but it does include the field orientation visit, the site visit, and advising days. You'll get more information about those later on in the fall. Here are important department contacts. My information's here, Lily's as well. Jackie LaHoulier, you may hear from the Office of Field Education email address. She is our administrative associate. Donovan McCrae is our student service coordinator. Dr. Hill is the chair of the department. And Dr. Donna Wang is the MSW program director. All of our resources are going to be on our field-specific webpage in addition to on Brightspace. As of today's date, the first day of class is September 6th. The webpage is not up to date yet, so I would use the resources that are linked in the PowerPoint attachment that you receive and or on Brightspace. So now I'm just going to show you quickly so you have some familiarity with what everything looks like on Brightspace. So whether you're a first year or second year student in field, the structure looks pretty similar. For all of you, if you go to the content tab, this is where you can find all information related to field. In Start Here and Resources, there's just some information for you. Start Here has some overviews. Resources has the Field Practicum Manual and the Field Practicum Workbook. And most importantly, I would attend to the assignments. So attached to each of the assignments are the documents that you could need for that particular assignment. So the template for the learning contract, the template for timesheets, the template for process recordings. So it's your choice whether you use them from the links in the PowerPoint or for your convenience, they're located right here as well. So they can be found either here under content, or if you go to activities, assignments, then you can see each particular assignment as well as the due date written right there under the due date column. So this is where everything needs to be submitted to go directly to your faculty advisor. So now Lily and I are going to meet with you to review any questions you have. Please let us know again, successes, questions, and we wish you all the best as you start this next year. Have a great day.